Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here. So, back in the days of the original Bakugan, after Bakugan Battle Brawlers did so well, Spin Master and Sega Toys decided that they needed a capstone.
A capstone toy is something added to a toy line, typically towards the end of the year, which acts as the line's ultimate prize, a highly priced and bombastic product meant to be the ultimate part of any collection. Not so excessive that you have to special order them like with the new Unicron or Ninjago City, but the largest thing that a brick and mortar store would probably carry, like the Paw Patrol Lookout, Armada Unicron, the Destiny's Bounty, or whatever Imaginext puts into the huge box this year. Now, Bakugan already had a couple of things that could qualify as capstone toys. There was the hard plastic battle arena and the battle packs, which contained enough Bakugan for 2 players, but both of them were missing that certain essence that made them feel like a proper capstone. However, they did notice an interesting trend happening in the line they were most frequently compared to, and took some notes. Enter Maxis Dragonoid, a series of 7 toys consisting of a special version of Pyrus Dragonoid, the show's most popular character, and a set of 6 Trap Bakugan, 1 in each attribute, though they were all colored in the same red color. Trap Bakugan were the gimmick of New Vestroia, Bakugan in a variety of shapes that act as a sort of backup character. While they couldn't roll like regular Bakugan, the fact that they could come in any shape meant that they could be shaped into, well, anything. Maxis Dragonoid is a combiner, where the 6 Trap Bakugan form into a sort of ride armor for Dragonoid to ride in, making what was at the time the largest toy Bakugan had yet released for the game. Kinda. You couldn't actually use the combined form in the game, but all the individual pieces were perfectly legal to use.
Also, why is it always clearly assembled wrong in the stock photos? I mean, that big thing they put on the end of its arm is clearly supposed to be the backpack. I mean, look at all the extra guns on it. Look at how it looks in the show. Look at it!
This would start a tradition for the rest of the lifetime of the original Bakugan, where each year, the new season's gimmick would be worked into some sort of Gestalt mode for Pyrus Dragonoid. The year after Maxis Dragonoid, we got Dragonoid Colossus, where the new gimmick battle gear became the wings and tail components of what was basically a huge action figure. I remember back in the day I snarked about it basically being a piece of plastic with no role in the game, and it feels like Spin Master sort of overcompensated for those comments because the next year they made Dragonoid Destroyer, where this big thing was a playable piece in its entirety, dangerously overpowered and super gimmicky. Mectanium Surge as a whole was super gimmicky now that I think about it, like half the stuff from that opening gag in my TCG video came from Mectanium Surge. Oh hey, there's Dragonoid Destroyer again.
I have mixed feelings on these, although my feelings on these can change depending on which one we're talking about. I mean, they definitely fulfill the role of Bakugan Capstone to a T, but each of them have their own problems. They're also not very hard to find either. On eBay, you can find basically any of these for their original asking price, or even for less.
Another tradition was that the main villainous Bakugan of the season would also get a special set, though these were all Toys R Us exclusives, starting with Maxis Helios, which was instead built using 7 of the regular round Bakugan. You could buy this special edition set, or you could actually buy the individual parts and build one piecemeal, like me here with my pure Chaos version. Because of course I'd have one of those. This was followed up by Darak Colossus, which had fewer parts than Dragonoid Colossus, but these light up! Or they would if I can find the replacement batteries for them.
And then there's this nightmare, which is called, a mistake. Yeah, that's what it's called, a mistake.
Although it does kind of make me wonder why Bakugan didn't also revive this tradition, as Magnus turned out to be more popular than I know I expected him to be, and as a result had no villainous counterpart when they rolled out their try at reviving the old capstone tradition with Dragonoid Maximus. At $45, Dragonoid Maximus acts as the intended capstone of Battle Planet's first year, invoking design elements from others like the compact dragon morphing of Dragonoid Colossus and the visual spectacle and action features of Dragonoid Destroyer. Like with previous huge Dragos, the set comes with a unique version of Dragonoid, in this case called Titan Dragonoid, which is dropped down to the back of the figure to make it transform. Although you can also do this with any Bakugan technically. Funny thing, I actually kinda like it a bit more when it's this sort of weird dragon throne thing. Game of Dragos. Although one thing Maximus Dragonoid also has, which the previous big Dragos didn't, are electronic effects. Flipping a little off switch on the right side of the tail adds a spectacle of light and sounds to the transformation. A little button underneath this green core can activate them as well.
So what kind of sounds does it make? Do we get some awesome quotes from the show? No, we just get some generic dragon roars. Oh well, talk about a missed opportunity.
There's a little extra work you have to do to make him fully transformed. You have to lower these arms and open the horn, but after that, not much really can be opposed aside from the jaws and the thumbs. Also included is Titan Dragonoid, not to be confused for the card Titan Dragonoid, which is a unique core Bakugan which has a sort of lunged forward posture reminiscent of the Batalix Dragonoid which came with Dragonoid Colossus, which Dragonoid Maximus takes most of its inspiration from, and I'll be honest, it looked a little better in photos. As with the standards of Battle Planet, there are no additional steps to transform, but I had hoped that these big ol' arms could be posed. Poor guy also looks like he's about to fall over, and actually he will if he doesn't have a core on him. The design work is nice, and it doesn't have the odd proportions a lot of core Bakugan have. Still, it does come off as a bit of a pack-in, which is a shame considering that it's the only game piece in this whole set. At a 703, it's actually pretty good since the current power cap is 800, though bringing in just regular fist and shield cores dampens that a bit. A strong early beater though, especially for Pyrus. It also means that one can now legally make a straight-run Pyrus Dragonoid deck. Would be pretty cool if card support based on Bakugan species rather than color came out.
Still, a bit disappointing seeing as the old Dragos had between 3 and 7 game legal pieces. Although, I'd be lying if I said we bought these for their use in the game.
Literally every piece of Max's Dragonoid was underpowered on release, having a mere 650 power in a 780 power metagame, and with every trap outclassed by another one. The reason we bought Max's Dragonoid was because its combined form was really cool. Same with Max's Helios. Like how Devastator revolutionized the Transformers brand, the act of being able to combine multiple Bakugan pieces together, even if they had no in-game application, was a huge step forward in the playability of the brand. I actually enjoy combining them together still closed up so they look like balloon animals. While my big complaint back in the day about Dragonoid Colossus was the huge dragon piece being useless in the game, it still acted as a platform for this neat showcase of unique game pieces, some of which were actually pretty good. Dragonoid Maximus, however, kinda just feels like it's only going through the motions of being a Bakugan capstone. It represents fully what has been the big problem dogging this reboot, that being the amping up of the toy element while the card game is basically left out in the cold. Individual toys lacking enough card support to generate interest and convert toy buyers into game players the way the original line did so well. Not to mention, look at what Megcard got for the same price. While it doesn't have the electronic features of Dragonoid Maximus, it's a launch ramp for the toy cars which you can use in the game to launch the toys at the game board.
Yes, I am still a bit bitter about Megcard's cancellation. How are you today?
Wouldn't it have been cool to, have a ramp going down Drago's back which you can use to launch the Bakugan at the Hive Matrix? Something that integrated the Bakugan toy gimmick a little better and could work with the game? Or, again, like Dragonoid Colossus, acted as a platform for a unique line of game pieces? So, who is this toy for? If it's not really great for the game, then what is this toy aimed at? Well, I assume it's for those who enjoy transforming and reclosing Bakugan over and over again. The act of transforming Bakugan is of itself a fun play pattern, even if the transformation isn't the most solid. The wings and arms stay in place with these little tabs that attach to the legs, but don't really hold it down the best.
But even with that, I still don't think that Dragonoid Maximus quite makes it as a capstone toy. It doesn't quite showcase enough of what makes Bakugan so great. Honestly, for the $45 you could spend buying it, I would instead buy a Bakugan Deca and a Walmart Baku Frisbee starter or the special set released at GameStop. You'd definitely get a better showcase at least.
The thing is, there was a little potential in this design as indicated by the thing I've been holding off on, the Dragonoid Maximus card.
Now, a lot of trading card games have these special sets which include things that are called Timmy cards. Now, a Timmy is a card game slang term for somebody who is new to the game or young, and thus these sorts of cards are meant to seem really cool and powerful even if they're not that great in the metagame. Like Metroplex here, it's this big game legal card that is absolutely gigantic and has a ton of hit points and good stats, but at the same time, it uses up literally all of your build points for the game, so you can't really combine it with anything else, so it's pretty much a one-trick pony. Problem is, the supposed Timmy card that came with this set, Dragonoid Maximus, is actually really good.
Dragonoid Maximus has a monstrous 2500 base power, something no other card has even come close to, only beaten in raw stats by Core Titan Dragonoid with its effect active. It also is the only Bakugan card with an instant win condition. If you have the hero cards Dan Kuzo, Winton Styles, and Leah Venegas in play, they've put an errata out on this, it means to refer to these card names specifically, then you win the game. At a cost of 10, you'd think I'd discount it as unusable, but as I said in my first video about the game, cards with this cost aren't worthless, they just need help getting into play. And since the deck with Maximus's instant win condition can include cards like Dan Kuzo, Winton Styles, Air Zero, and Divine Intervention, cards which let it get into play way faster, the developers' attempt to make Max's Dragonoid a cool but non-threatening Timmy card have instead quite possibly created a monster. Even without its instant win effect, its raw power will be difficult for opposing decks to overcome, and it can easily splash into any Pyrus hybrid deck.
Although one problem, the American version comes with only one copy. You'll notice I said American version. All the international versions come with a full play set of 3.
Not to mention, its effect requires you to own several top rarity cards in order to work, so the idea of this being a friendly, strong-looking, fun Timmy card basically gets chucked out the window. It's not a good capstone card for this set. The other sets tend to be self-contained, including pieces that all work together as well as a special card that works using just the pieces of the set.
So that's Dragonoid Maximus, and it's underwhelming. It just doesn't Bakugan enough for the price tag.
I kinda look at this and think of what it could have been. Perhaps if it had included special versions of Pegatrix, Trox, Dan, Winton, and Leah in order to form a more interesting ensemble, or at least allow people to more easily use the card it comes with. Heck, I'd have gone all out and made some sort of event or retailer exclusive diamond version.
But as it is, I would honestly spend my money on anything else. Until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.
The Talking Eagle Talon Castle.
Barricade the walls!
You can turn the knight to defend against enemy fire,
Transformation complete!
like the catapult.
Incoming!
Or expand the castle to defend against the awesome ogre.
Ogre!
Who will win the battle?